In this video, we take a tour around a subscriber's home golf simulator. Stick around until the end because the next 30 minutes are full of ideas, tips, and general inspiration for your own home golf simulator setup. Whether you're just starting out, looking to upgrade, or you just fancy a nosy around somebody else's golf room. Gary, welcome to the Handicap Golf channel, and thank you very much for offering to share your home golf simulator setup with us all. Can you please tell everybody whereabouts you live and how long have you owned a golf simulator?
I live in Australia. I've had my golf simulator set up since August of 2021.
And what made you get a golf simulator?
Look, it started from really from the pandemic, to be honest. We had in Melbourne here, we had probably one of the longest lockdowns in the world. And I realised at this moment, if this ever happens again, I would like to have something to entertain me while we was in the same state of affairs as we were before. So anyway, I decided to, and I've always kind of wanted to have some way of practicing at home. So that was really the driving force for having going ahead and building one.
Nice. So yeah, I was similar. Mine started lockdown time as well. I was just in that phase of golf where you just get addicted, and I thought, wow, I'd love to own a golf simulator. And then I started looking into it, and I thought actually it's probably a little bit more affordable than what I imagined. So that's how I got into it as well, similar to you, I guess.
I think that's exactly what happened here. As I always thought this was just way out of my reach. I thought that you needed, ample space. And when I started doing some research, I found out, actually, this is actually quite doable. So, and obviously in lockdown, you've got a bit of extra time. So, yeah, it was that was really it's quite an exciting moment when you realise you can do it.
Yeah, so hopefully just this video as well can make people a little bit more aware that golf simulators are actually more affordable than what people might think. So, but we'll delve into that in a little bit of time. Can I also ask, how long have you been playing golf? Do you have a handicap, or what do you like to shoot usually?
Well, I started playing golf, I think it was around about, I think I picked up a club. Actually, I started left-handed, actually. My old man had left-handed clubs, and we had a little field next to us, so I started with him. And then I think about 11 or 12, he bought me a set of right-handed clubs. He was right-handed, so I started playing seriously. I joined a club when I was around about 14. My current handicap is 5. But to be honest with you, I think by the time this video goes out, it's probably going to be about 7 or 8 the way I've been going at the moment. So it's been a bit of a struggle at the moment. But yeah, what I would like to shoot, I just love to play to my handicap, to be honest with you, like most golfers. That's the key for me.
So yeah, with a handicap of 5, you're a player. You know what you're doing.
I've had my moments, like we all have. I think sometimes you come off and you kind of scratch your head and go, yeah, I'm not such a decent player like I thought it was. So, but yeah, at the moment, it's a bit of the one's having a bit of a trouble at the moment. But yeah, I've been playing a while.
Right. Okay. Let's crack on with. Let's delve into the golf simulator stuff. First question for you is, which launch monitor do you use?
I use the FlightScope Mevo Plus.
And whereabouts did you get that from? Obviously, did you get it in Australia?
I did actually. My first port of call when I buy things generally is I just look on the second-hand sort of places like Marketplace, and we got one called Gumtree over here. So I had a quick look. I didn't think I was going to have much luck with this, but I actually found one. So I bought one actually. It was a second-hand unit. The guy sort of shipped me over, and I saved probably, I think it's about $300 from the retail price. So I took a bit of a chance, and it seems to have paid out.
Yeah, I got my eye on SkyTrack, obviously, and when I was looking at mine, I think it was like $2,000 for like the RRP, and then actually SkyTrack website itself was selling refurbished or second-hand models, so I ended up going for a second-hand SkyTrack as well. It's a decent way to save a few £100 or a few $100, isn't it?
Well, I think I actually watched that video and I thought, well, yeah, there's no reason why not to buy a refurb model. Obviously, you don't get the warranty or whatever, and you do take a bit of a chance. But sometimes the savings that you get are worth taking the risk on. So
yeah, I think as like an introduction to golf simulators, it's not a bad option to go for. So Anyway, very good. Do you have the do you use the Pro package at all with Mevo Plus? I know they've upgraded to a Pro package lately, haven't they?
Look, I don't. I bought the. I think I tried a couple of ways of doing it. I think I tried through an iPad. I didn't have the right. I didn't have an iPad with the right specifications. I think it's FS Golf. I think with the Mevo, and then I went on to E6 Connect for a while and had a few little dramas with that. So I've kind of. No, in answer to your question, I don't have the Pro package. I use GS Pro now.
Because I think I've not. Well, I have used a Mevo Plus recently. I was able to try one out, and it just seemed like with the Pro package, there was just like a ridiculous amount of data that you get, which is obviously amazing. And I thought you being a very good golfer playing off 5, you might be interested in learning all that data, but you're not too bothered, are you not?
To be honest with you, the data that I get is actually is sufficient, and in my opinion, for me, sometimes too much data is a bit too much.
Yeah,
I have too much going through my head. To be fair, just even swing speeds and ball speeds, I stand in here trying to absolutely smash the hell out of the ball. And one thing I've realised is that my body has actually only got so much in it. To be honest with you, so yeah, too much data can actually kind of like get it a bit more complicated than it needs to be. I think.
Yeah,
so,
yeah. I'm like that when I've used like TrackMan before, and when I was using the Mevo Plus, I was like, I just want to hit it straight. These numbers are just confusing me, so I'm happy just to hit that ball straight and I'm all right.
Yeah. I just want to see that line shoot off in a straight direction to a reasonable distance. That's
exactly. Carry that number that you wanted it to carry, and then I'm good. That's all I'm bothered about.
Yeah.
Right. Anyway, I digress, mate. Sorry. So I've seen some pictures. You've kindly sent me some pictures of your golf simulator room, and it looks amazing. I'm going to put some shots of it over our little conversation here so everybody who's watching the video can see as well. I'm just wondering what size is your room? What are the dimensions of your room?
So just a little bit of history. So my room is actually in an external garage to my house, but it is a sort of slightly oversized garage, like a double garage. One half of it we sort of like made into a bit of a studio for my wife from work. But my space is, I've got 7.1 metres from front to back, and I have 3.1 metres wide. And I originally started off with a ceiling that was 2.5 metres high.
Cool. Yeah. So in the photos that you sent me over, when you emailed me, I could see that you'd raised the roof of your ceiling, haven't you?
I did, yeah. It was one of those things that you kind of, as I went through the build and you sort of like put a bit more money into the job, you suddenly go, oh, well, it actually works to this point now. I'm happy to invest in this and I'm happy to invest in that. And the ceiling was one of them. I decided that I wanted to use all the clubs in the bag if I could. And I found out that obviously 2.5 metres, even though I'm quite a short fella, was not enough. So I spoke to a sort of carpenter mate of mine, and we had a look at it. And he thought, you know, we sort of cut a bit of an access hole up. We had a quick look, and he felt that he could do it. So yeah, we managed to lift the ceiling up from 2.5 metres to 3 metres high. So and it really has made all the difference, to be honest, in here.
Oh, mate, that is exactly what I need in my setup. Unfortunately, as I've told you in the past, I've got a bloody bedroom directly above my garage, so there's no chance that I can do that, unfortunately. Yeah. But yeah, every credit for you. That's brilliant. That. Great. So
I think the one thing I'd just like to just
go for it, mate.
Sorry, mate. Yeah, just the one thing I just want to say that's quite important about that, though, is that the roof that's actually on this actual garage is a tin roof. It's a colour-bond roof. So the kind of like the trusses that support the roof are a lot wider because there's not much weight on the roof. So it's definitely a different challenge if you have a tiled roof, because there's a lot of extra weight there, so it does really depend, I suppose, on what the roof material or whatever you got above.
Yeah, when I was looking into it for me, I was like researching bloody building surveyors and all that sort of stuff, and it just got far too complex. Then I just thought, you know what, it's not worth it. I'm just going to have to deal with what I've got, and I'm quite happy with it. I'd love to have an amazing setup.
You're happy with it, yeah?
It works, mate. It does the job. Still happy with it. So you said your room is like just over 3 metres wide, isn't it? Is your impact screen pretty much the same width as that?
It literally goes from wall to wall, yes.
Yeah, it's tremendous. So you've got like a wide screen, impact screen there, like set up, haven't you? Which is pretty cool.
It is. It goes the full width of the room, and obviously the fixings are straight down. I've got a brick wall one side, I've got plaster wall the other. I've got the fixings all round the sides. I've actually got them at the top and at the bottom as well. So I've got the full screen, then I've just got some curtains and like a little kind of like a valance at the top to hide the fixings.
Yeah, sweet. Do you have so you just have the curtains on the side? You don't have like any Velcro fastenings or anything that go around the screen?
I don't have any Velcro fastenings at all. Like my build was fully custom. There was no package involved here. It was going down the local kind of like shop to get the curtains and the fixings and just literally learning as I went along. So yeah, that's how it kind of worked for me.
Good man. That was my next question actually. Was it like a pre-bought build or was it a DIY custom job? So yeah, I'm glad you said that because I obviously did mine DIY and custom, and on the channel that I've got, I like to just inform everybody of like how cheaply that you can do your golf simulator stuff. You don't have to go and fork out thousands of pounds just to get your screen and your enclosure and stuff. So yeah, I'm glad that you've done it yourself, mate. That's good. A little bit about your projector, mate. Now, I don't know a lot about projectors. Have you got any idea about them, or did you just pick a cheap one up? How have you done it?
I have to say this was probably the area that was the most confusing, scratch your head moments for a couple of reasons. I did some research again on YouTube. All my research was done on YouTube, other channels and other things. And the recommendations I seemed to get were that it had to be a short throw projector, which is so that it's a projector that kind of sits in front of where you're swinging. So I went for a BenQ HD projector. Cost me around about $1,000, like $1,100. But it was the mounting of the projector that was the real challenge, because you got the space and everything, but what you kind of really need to take into account is where the projector sits, and is that going to come in the way of your swing?
Yeah.
Because what we would love to do is having a full screen image. That's kind of like the ideal and a sharp picture. So yeah, it took a fair bit of messing around to get this quite right, actually, but it did in the end. But it was research on YouTube, to be honest with you.
Sweet. So you've got a good projector. I've heard that the BenQ ones are like spot on, good projectors.
Yeah, again, it was just I picked up a thread somewhere that someone suggested the BenQ, or actually no, I beg your pardon, it was actually on a site that was doing a bit of a package, and I saw the BenQ projector as part of the package. I went, oh, actually, they're selling it as part of the package. It must be the one you need to use. So
yeah, decent.
Grabbed one of those and shoved it in. It was. I haven't been disappointed with the projector at all. It's been brilliant.
Good. Is it 1080 full HD or is it 4K? Do you know?
No, it's 1080.
Yeah,
1080.
Cool. I believe the 4K projectors are extortionate, mate, so I wouldn't be touching any one of those anytime soon, I don't think.
Yeah, and I think, to be honest with you, you've got to have everything's got to be right. The graphics card, your internet connection, for it to all really be worth it.
Yeah, be 4K. So my next question was going to ask you about your inspiration behind your build, because doing a DIY build, you've got like endless amount of options to like how you design it, what the finished product looks like, and it's bloody hard work. So I got a lot of my inspiration off Facebook groups and looking at other people's posts that they put up. But I think you said you got yours mainly off YouTube, did you?
Basically, yeah. The only Facebook groups I ended up joining was when I had a bit of software and I was struggling with it. That was when I thought I'd jump on and see if I could learn some bits and pieces. But it was all off YouTube. To be honest with you, your channel was probably one of the first ones that I looked at, and it gave me some serious inspiration. I think it was just your space that you had, and that you pressed the head and did it, even though you realised you didn't have the room and everything like that. So I think certainly Handicap Golf really helped me out, and there was a couple of other ones that I saw just over in Australia here, and then you see the high-end ones. So the high-end ones are the ones that you're striving for. You get a bit of a feel of how they look, but then you kind of have to pair it back with the space you've got and the money that you're willing to basically throw into it.
And then you bring yourself back down to earth, don't you, when you see some of those guys' setups?
Yeah, and I think, to be honest with you, and I don't, this was just my personal experience, probably the way that I operate, but it was literally, okay, what do I need as the basics, right? Let's just try and do the basics. And then as it goes along and it, you get a bit more playable, you go, oh, and actually I'm happy to chuck a bit more money into something else, or I might upgrade this, or I might upgrade that. So that's kind of like how it went, the process.
It's like an ongoing project, isn't it? It's I can't imagine myself ever being happy with my simulator. There would always be something else that I would like to upgrade or improve, but I guess that's part of the fun of it, isn't it?
It becomes an obsession. I mean, I think, to be honest with you, and I'm not sure this is part of the questions, but the one thing that I did actually do that really made the difference was once it had all been finished and I was using it, I was really happy with it. It was because it was in the garage, I had a roller garage door, and I couldn't control the temperature. The noise was an issue because obviously the ball's hitting the screen. So I ended up basically framing out on the outside of the garage door some panelling, and I put some doors in. So I actually enter the space into, it feels like an externally built room, but it's actually the noise and maintaining the temperature has made all the difference, and it actually feels like a proper kind of simulator space now, as opposed to just something shoved in the garage.
That's definitely a good point, that because sound is massive, isn't it? Like, you don't realise how intense the sound can be when you're smashing a driver or any sort of club into a screen, can you? So that's a really good point. So you built those doors externally, did you?
I did, yeah. Like a mate of mine from the UK, actually, from Rochdale, actually over here, he installs UPVC windows for a living, double glazed, and he had a spare set line in his warehouse that no one had wanted. But luckily enough, they were the same colour and style as the rest of our windows. So I thought, yeah, I'll grab them. I think he only charged me $400 for these things. They're normally about $2,500.
Wow! And
we shoved them in literally over one day. And the noise is the one. Like if anyone's not really had if there's one thing I'd say consider this too is space and the noise.
Yeah.
The noise, you cannot imagine how bad and how much you will upset your neighbours if you don't get this bit right.
I was going to say, mate, you don't want to piss off your neighbours, and then I also think I don't want to wake up my kid, and I don't want to piss off my missus who's upstairs trying to get some sleep half of the time. So, absolutely, the noise is a big deal.
On the other side of the hitting wall here, there's literally about 2.5 metres from the wall to the bed head of the bed next door. Not that I've been in there, but that's where their bedroom is. So I have to have a bit of a curfew, like whenever anyone come on, we have to knock it on the head at about 11 o'clock to be reasonable.
Yeah, they'd be fuming, wouldn't they, next door? Right, anyway, mate, brilliant. So, it's quite an interesting question. Obviously, you've done a DIY build. From the start of it to where you're at now, how long do you reckon it took you to build your simulator? Was it weeks, months, days?
It was actually probably about 3 months. To be honest, I didn't do it flat out. I was obviously working and doing other things, but it was around about 3 months before I get everything done with the ceiling and putting the doors in and everything.
Okay, moving on a little bit away from your build then. You've got a Mevo Plus launch monitor. You mentioned before about E6 Connect, and you weren't so keen on that. So what is your main software that you like to use now for playing courses?
I've gone to GS Pro.
It's good, isn't it?
Yeah, and it was off the back of one of the things that you did on one of yours, and I thought, I'd had a few little dramas with E6 Connect. There was only a few, I think I had a few connection issues, but in fairness to E6 Connect at the time, I probably wasn't using the right I suppose, graphics cards for it. So, but I had a few little issues with it, and then decided, what I'd seen, GS Pro looked absolutely brilliant, and it definitely plays really more like a golf course when you're playing it.
Yeah, I mean, I've only ever really played the demo of E6, and I thought it was decent, but at the time it was between E6 and the Golf Club 2019 for me, and I thought, right, Golf Club 2019 all day. I'd played the video game on PlayStation and stuff, and I was familiar with it, so I just thought it'd be really cool to have. And then I was, for about a solid year, I was the Golf Club 2019, and I'd heard about GS Pro and people were raving about it online. And eventually I just decided to bite the bullet, and since I've owned GS Pro, I think I've played the golf club maybe once or twice.
Yeah, and the other thing too is I just like the pricing package that they have for it too. It was I think it was cheaper than E6 Connect. You're not laying out a whole heap of money at the beginning. And that just the quality of the courses on there are just spectacular. And also, sorry too, the other thing I noticed as well, playing out the rough. You're playing out the rough on E6 Connect. It felt like I'm in the rough or I'm in the bunker. I used what I would hit off the fairway and it didn't make any difference. But
Really?
GS Pro definitely reflects where you are on the course.
Yeah, mate, absolutely. Because I was a bit confused coming over from the Golf Club 2019 because it was like either like a 40% penalty in the bunkers or like a 14 or 7% penalty or something like that. And then I came to GS Pro and I end up in the heavy rough and I'm just like nowhere near like my estimations of what my club choice should have been are just ridiculously wrong. So it's definitely more realistic,
Absolutely,
isn't it?
yeah. Absolutely.
So do you ever use your simulator for practice, as in like dialing in numbers or anything, or is it mainly just for playing courses?
I have sessions where I come out and I'm just practicing sort of like 120 meters, 100 meters. I think yardage. There's another 10% on top of that. So there's some target sort of skills games on there that I like to use just to kind of like dial in your kind of like your wedge areas and stuff like that. So that I'd spend a fair bit of time on that just to see roughly where my balls are kind of are going and how they're flighting. I think since I've had GS Pro, I've been definitely playing a few more courses because they are thoroughly enjoyable. So it's a mixture of both in answer to your question.
And do you reckon, since you've owned a golf simulator, do you think it's improved your game at all?
It actually did, and I've even got some numbers to kind of prove it as well.
Yeah.
So, just kind of coming out of lockdown, I was really struggling. I obviously hadn't played for a whole heap of time. I'd struggled with just getting back into it, playing for a bit. My handicap was about 9. It was literally about 9 point something, and then I just had this absolute. After practicing, I was practicing probably 4 nights a week of my sim. And I literally had this purple patch, went from 9 to 5. I had literally about 6 or 7 rounds in a row that were all flag rounds. So absolutely improved my game. And for some reason, there's other things in life. I haven't practiced as much as I did at that point. Now I'm starting to go back out again. So the practice definitely worked for me.
Yeah. It was the same for me, because when I got my SkyTrack, obviously it was lockdown. I had a bit more time off work and stuff, and must have been hitting 500 balls a day, like when I first got it. And then I remember that first round that I went back onto the real course after just using the sim, and I couldn't believe how pure I was striking the ball, and just how intentional my shots were. Like I was aiming for a specific point on the hole or whatever, and my shots were practically going there, and I was like, wow, this is amazing. So I think it's definitely improved my game, especially in terms of ball striking. But recently not so much. I've kind of veered away from the practice side of things, and like you said, since I got GS Pro, I'm playing more courses more than anything, and my handicap has slowly crept up over the last year or so. So I think I really need to start dialing in some clubs again on the practice facilities.
Well, I think the other thing that I've noticed since I've had the simulator, I'm chickening out of a lot more games out in the wet and the mud, to be honest with you, because I think what's the point? I could just go and have 36 holes in like 3 hours, and I'm in the dry, in the comfort of air-conditioned space. Why go out slopping around in the mud? It's just not worth it.
Absolutely, mate, absolutely. It's coming up to winter where I am. Obviously, it's coming up to more summer where you are, but I'm damn sure that I won't be out on the golf course that often in winter, and I'll be happily sat with my heating on or playing a few rounds in here. Right, so last question, Gary, about your simulator. Now, you don't have to give me an exact figure. You can happily give me a ballpark, but how much would you say your golf simulator has cost altogether?
Look, I think it was between, so forget the kind of like the doors and the paneling and all that. So that was another couple of grand all up, 2 or 3 grand all up, just to finish it off. But I'd probably say it was around about the $7,000 mark. all up, $6,500, $7,000 mark.
And that's including launch monitor and everything else.
That was everything. Yeah,
Yeah, fantastic. So, I mean, obviously, it's not cheap. It's a lot of money, and we're quite privileged, I guess, to own something like this. But it's definitely more affordable than what some people might think, and I hope that some people watching this video who are interested in potentially one day owning a golf simulator will get a bit of knowledge and a bit of info about how. Not cheap you can do it, but how much cheaper you can do it than what you might think. Because I remember when I was thinking about it before I researched golf sims, I was thinking, it's got to be about between £15,000-20,000 if you want like a room in your house. And then I remember seeing the SkyTrack, and it was £2,000, and that was like, for me, that was the light bulb moment where thinking, maybe I can afford something like this. So yeah, it's definitely more affordable than you might think, and well, £7,000 is great, I think.
Yeah, no, I was really happy with it. Exactly like yourself. Saw these really expensive launch monitors, and then when I started sort of like having a bit more of a look, I thought actually this can actually be done a lot cheaper. And yeah, so I'd recommend it to anyone that loves their golf. If you got some space that you can use, definitely go for it. It's as you said, a lot cheaper than you think it'd be.
Yeah, absolutely. And I must admit, mate, from what I've seen of your simulator so far, it looks amazing. Once again, thank you very much for showing that off for everybody. And really interesting information, really interesting insights into how you built yours there. Before we finish, I want to finish with a couple of fun questions about you, just to get to know you a little bit better, Gary.
Yeah.
So,
Okay, all right.
well, I guess it's still related to your simulator. What is your favourite thing inside your golf simulator? Do you have one thing that you think, I'm well happy with that?
To be honest with you, the one thing that makes all the difference is I've got an LED strip that I nicked out my son's bedroom when he didn't want it anymore. that literally goes around like the this kind of space here.
Yeah.
I think you can pick them up from Amazon for like about I don't know. They're literally nothing. They're like, I think it's about $30 over here. But it literally, at the touch of a button, there's a little keypad with all these different colours on it, and you just flick it and it can change it to all these different colours, and it literally changes the feel of the room every time you do it. So it was cheap, and it was probably the thing that makes all the difference.
Yeah, I love that, mate. It looks great, that LED strip. What one thing would you like to improve or upgrade in your simulator setup?
If I can be permitted for two things, if that's okay,
Go
I would
for it.
like my room to be a little bit wider. Would be great. I think if it was maybe 4 meters wide, it would be absolutely perfect for me. That would be one, and the screen. I went for a very budget screen first of all, and then I got that ripped and I put another budget screen in, but this one's holding up really well. So I think I'd love to upgrade to, I think a 3D screen or something. I think you showed one in one of your recent ones. There's a 3-ply screen or something. It was a high-end screen. That's what I'd love to upgrade to on my screen.
Yeah, it's. I must admit, I was extremely fortunate there because Phil, who sent me that screen for nothing, which was extremely kind of him. Before that, I'd bought a previous screen off him, and it was like a HD quality one, but it was very thin and it's very loud when you hit into it.
Yeah.
And ever since he sent me this new screen, much thicker, and it completely deadens the sound. It's so much better. So I was very fortunate with that. Anyway, if you could have any launch monitor, so I'm talking about GC Quad, TrackMan, anything like that, which one would you choose, do you think?
I'd have to say GC Quad, I'd say. Would be the one.
Yeah, very good. Okay, you might not have one, but do you have a favourite simulator course that you play?
As I've only just gone over to GS Pro recently, the best one I've played is Tobacco Road at the moment.
Right, okay, I've not played that one.
Yeah, no, I did see someone else playing it, and I thought, wow, that looks really good. So I had a go at that last week, and that is exceptional. But just doing a few flyovers, I can't wait to play the players either. I'm going to have a crack on that one because that looks unbelievable as well.
Yeah, have you not played that one yet? Sawgrass, it's really good.
No,
it's so good.
Yeah, it looks unreal.
It's definitely. I think if anyone was to ask me, I think that would be the favourite course that I've played. I just thought the graphics on it were phenomenal. Anyway, right, who's your favourite golfer, Gary?
Sevi, no, not even a question, not even a thought there. Just straight in.
Straight in. Okay, see if you can give me a same one. I know you're a football fan. Who's your favourite footballer?
Thierry Henry.
Yeah. So I've spoken to Gary previously, everybody, and he's an Arsenal fan. You used to live in England, didn't you? From London originally, are you?
I did, yeah. I was over there. I grew up in there. Yep.
So yeah, he's told me he's an Arsenal fan. Obviously, I'm a Manchester United fan, so there's a little bit of previous rivalry there. But you've got to respect quality where it is, and Thierry Henry is absolute quality. Yeah. And finally, just a little bit of a plug for you, Gary, because you're on about setting your own YouTube channel up, aren't you?
Look, I've got something ready to go, yeah, so I'll probably just do a couple of videos and see how we go with that, yeah.
Fantastic. So if you want to see more of Gary's setup, his golf simulator setup, then I'm going to put a link in the description down below this video. So hopefully you'll go and check that out as well after you've watched this. Anyway, Gary, once again, thank you very much. I really appreciate you coming on and sharing your golf simulator setup and your knowledge with us. Hopefully it's been very insightful for everybody that's watching, and hopefully we get to do more in a series of videos like this on the Handicap Golf channel. So thanks very much, Gary. Very much appreciate that, mate, and we'll keep in touch, and hopefully I'll see you again soon, pal.
No worries, Mitch. Thanks a lot. Thanks for the chat. See you, mate.
If you'd like to showcase your home golf simulator setup on this channel, then drop me an email at this address.
And if you want to get 5% off anything golf simulator related, then check out the link in the description below. Type in the code handicap5 and you'll get 5% off whatever you buy.
And if you want to see more golf simulator content, then check out this video right here.